Yo, this hot, this the spot, there it is, pod.com. We're interviewing the best comedians, so tune in quick and get your ears receiving them. We talking about life and life to stream right to you, from the microphone right to your home, dude. Side note, this might get embarrassing, but no, don't sweat, yo, cause there it is.
Welcome to the There It Is podcast, the comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. So great to have you here on another fantastic episode of There It Is. This time it's with Sydney Duncan, a performer in New York City who you've seen online or in person doing her excellent impressions of AOC, Kamala Harris, and more. She's also performed on The Tonight Show, and she's a cast member on Wild 'N Out. She is crushing it there. We have a really great talk about her background in ballet and how it influences how she approaches pursuing a career in comedy. But first, she has a show happening on November 13th at BK Art House called WOC Wigs of Color. Definitely click the link in the description to buy tickets. I loved this chat. Sydney is so great, so very talented, and she's also one of those people that just exudes happiness and joy. And I think the world needs more of that. So I'm so glad I got to talk to her. And you should follow her after you listen to this. Here's my chat with Sydney Duncan. I've been wanting to ask you to be on for a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. I'm just like, I do everything with the podcast. And sometimes I just get lazy with like reaching out.
Right.
Like,
I have a podcast. I could email you, but I'm not. And
I'm just like, so I need to finally branch that part of the podcast out. But I am where I am. But it is great to have you on. You do so much stuff. We've got to perform together a couple of times.
Yeah. I love the New York improv scene because it's this way that we can all see each other, even if like we have so many different schedules or whatever. Too many emails. But yeah.
The first time was a couple years ago, but most recently we were in the Black Coalition show, which is a lot of fun, or Black Convention.
Yeah. Oh, I think Black Coalition is a team that performed at the Black Convention.
Yeah.
We're all going to go to the Black Congressional Congress meeting.
Right, yeah.
Caucus. What is it? The Black Congressional Caucus, and then we're going to go to Black Caucus, and then it's going to be great.
We're going to have a good time. No, but you have done a ton of things. I mean, people are seeing you all over the place. You're on Wild 'N Out right now.
Yes.
You are taking the internet by storm. You're taking the stage by storm. I do apologize that the Kamala Harris, the great, amazing Kamala Harris impression you're doing could not be the thing right now for you,
Yeah, that's okay. I'm very thankful for that impression. It got through a lot of doors and it gave me a lot of confidence because, starting comedy a couple of years ago, it was hard to just step on stage as yourself. I'm like, how do these guys do it? It was easier to come out in an improv scene as a character or to perform a character set. So because of my character's impressions, I'm in these like high pressure situations and I could throw on the wig and emulate all of those emotions through whatever raggedy wig I have on that day. And it was like a great way to like mask the anxiety and fear and just kind of funnel it through a character where it's like, oh, well, if Kamala's impression, if she fumbles a line or if she does this or she does that, like that could just be one of her character traits for my impression. So really, I'm very thankful for that impression. Yes, I do miss doing it. It was very fun. But now I'm just focusing on other things. It's like, I don't just do her impression. I do other impressions and I'm trying to work on those. I write characters. I was up very late or very early, I guess. When does late become early is a question.
That's what I think.
Hot take.
I think if
4 a.m. to 5, is it 6, 2?
I mean, you're still up late if you didn't sleep until 5 a.m. in the morning, right? Like you were still just up late last night. You're up until I guess because I was up until the morning or something.
Right. Yeah. I'm up writing this character because the deadline for it for my Betty team is tomorrow. So I just really wanted to fine tune and all this stuff. And I just love writing characters. So it's Yes, I missed Kamala, and I got to do her for yeah, like I was going in right before the election into Fallon and doing so many fun things with her. And yeah, now I'm like, oh, but I still see her in the news, and I'm like, oh, there could, like I was even thinking about doing like a book tour video. Like she's still around, she still says some fun
Hmm.
stuff. But what was great about Kamala too was everyone has a politician. Yeah, white guys have Trump.
Hmm.
There was the George
I
Santos.
have Obama.
Right, right, right. It's like everybody had their thing, but like black women were hardly problematic or on that level where there's so much video and footage of someone and they have such strong character buttes that you could do an impression of. She was kind of this first person where like the zeitgeist of black women could go like, oh, there's something really funny there.
Yeah.
And that was really fun to go like, oh, what is she going to say this week? And
Hmm.
how can we play with it and write with it and put that into the live shows or put it into sketch. It was great. But
Hmm.
yeah, people forget that if she doesn't have a job, neither do we. So,
Right.
but it's all good. But even without her, there's so much that we can do as Black people doing characters and impressions.
Right.
I'm just going to
Right.
keep doing it.
You're right about how many people there were to do impressions of, because Kamala was kind of the first in the political
On that
world.
level. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm
That
against
because
Michelle
not the
Obama.
first black person, just the for black woman, but the first two who was an easy one to do an impression of.
Yeah.
Like
Or,
Michelle Obama was, I don't know what the impression would be necessarily.
well,
It's not,
Viola
it's
Davis, she had the little pouty lip thing. And I was like,
that's
okay,
true.
she played with that. She played with that
She
gown,
figured that out.
gowns. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
no,
it's like just be a
yeah.
strong woman, and then that's a great impression
Right,
of
right. Or, you're impersonating people like Harriet Tubman or Rosa Parks, where it's just like whoever is black around you is putting on a wig and kind of doing like, oh, well, back in the old days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't know what she sounded like. Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, it's
touchstone
easy. It's
there.
easy to do those characters. I didn't do that as well. What? There's no frame of reference. What do you want me to do? Yeah, so she was this great person to do that because also it's like I was telling someone the other day, it's like there are a couple of like congresswomen that are really strong personalities and like freaking going out there and they're so fierce. Like Representative Bush, Corin, I believe her first name, or Corinne or Corin, I could be saying her name wrong.
I know who you're
So
talking
fierce.
about. Yeah.
She's up there swinging. You could get some glasses and a wig and just have, just be like, I'm from Texas and go. So there's definitely potential. But yeah, no one on that level. And I had this joke right after the election where I can't remember the exact wording, but it was just like, oh, so I do a common impression. I guess you guys just didn't want a black woman to impersonate the president. Like, I know the severity is that like a black woman isn't about to be president, but it was basically this whole bit of me pouting that it's like y'all just didn't want me to impersonate the president. Like I wanted to impersonate a president. Like y'all just don't want me to thrive. And it's like,
Just
girl,
do
calm
it
down.
and start doing a Trump.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned you're from Texas. You are
Yes.
from Texas. You went to Booker T. Washington School of
Yes.
Performing Visual.
Pinky down. Yeah.
Yeah. And you also studied ballet at the
Yes.
University of Utah.
Mhm.
It's amazing. You are very graceful on stage. I wasn't surprised to find this out when researching you, but yeah, you did that. You're in Utah for a little bit. What was the experience like being in Utah? Did it like going from Dallas to Utah? Did it feel like a big culture shock?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So yeah, I grew up dancing classical ballet and was like in a pre-professional training program. So, you're not just kind of like twinkle toesing around. It was a very intense program where it's like after school every day from like 5 to 10, you're training, training, training for many, many years. And it was my life. I loved to dance. I had no dreams of comedy at all. I was a very serious bunhead.
Yeah, because
Uh,
even after college, you were a ballet
Yes.
dancer
Yeah,
in
up until the
Texas.
pandemic.
Wow,
And
yeah.
yeah, so I loved classical ballet and I was also doing contemporary and modern and all that, but ballet was my focus.
Mhm.
And so after high school, then you start to go into these like professional programs or start to join a company or programs attached to companies. So, but also, I'm still a 6 foot tall black woman. So I can't just like go to New York. I can't just go to any old ballet company, and be like, okay, here I am. They're like, what do you think we're gonna do with you? Like what? Our men aren't even 6 feet. So I went purposefully to Utah because the ballet company that's attached to their ballet program is
Mhm.
tall. I was training with a company during their summer programs and like their professional programs and all this stuff. with a company called Ballet West, and all of their dancers are tall, and all their teachers also teach tall dancers. So even though it made no sense to anybody, especially my parents, I mean, they understood, but it was more of like, why are you going to Utah? Why are you going to Utah? There's no black people there. And I'm like, I know, but I'm in a predicament where it's like, I'm black, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not going into modern dance. People are like, oh, just go to Ailey, just go to Ailey. It's like telling a white person to like, well, just go to Kentucky. Just go. Like, it's so arbitrary to like, did I say I wanted to go to Kentucky? I love Ailey. I would love to be in that company, but what did I say I wanted to do? And where's the best place for that? So I went there, and yes, very Mormon, very white,
Hmm.
not a lot of black people at all. The Black Student Union was like 5 girls in a break room, just be like, okay, so everybody's not okay. Great. Yay. Good check-in. Good check-in. But yes, I was there for 4 years and got a double major. Yeah, danced for many years, but yeah, I definitely look back. I'm like, wow, I was definitely in a lot of predominantly white spaces.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to combat that with like, how do I make sure that I'm kind of undoing all of those. I don't even know the word yet. It's like not undo the trauma, but undo how I operate in spaces and what
Hmm.
spaces am I. It's like a
Yeah,
reprogramming.
when you're in a yeah, there is because when you're in a space as someone from the South,
Yeah, where are you
obviously,
from?
I'm from South Carolina,
Okay, fun.
and all the schools I went to were 50-50 or 49%
Yeah.
black and white.
College was so diverse. It was like
Right.
30, 30, 30, and like I loved that.
Yeah.
All K through 12, it was like you saw every walk of life,
Hmm.
every like low income to high income, every range of color, international, whether you're southern or northern, like it just I'm so glad I got to grow up in that in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. And, in certain spaces in South Carolina, I mean, like, no matter what, it just felt like the vibe, the predominant vibe
Mhm.
was just not about people of color. And I don't necessarily mean that in a they're racist,
Yeah.
like slamming my hand on the table sort of way. I just mean like that was just what was kind of the norm. And you kind of have to code switch at all times to just sort of operate in the general space.
Yeah.
And even in a place where they're just like, everyone's welcome, it's like still the only people who come are still one group of people. So you're like in a space where you're one of the few, if not only, person of color or black person. So you just sort of in some cases people are normal, and in some cases people are exactly the stereotype, and you're like, there's something else I gotta ignore just so I can like
Mm.
get through
Missing
this.
the space. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And then when you move to a melting pot like New York City, you're like, oh, I have to undo
Yes.
this framework of how I
How you form.
had to operate to
Yeah.
get just to like keep sanity even at
Yes.
times. It's not even just like sometimes obviously maybe it's a safety thing. Like some people like a person like JD Vance would take what I'm saying and make it like, oh, so everyone's racist. And that's not what I'm saying. But yes, there was also racism.
Yeah, I just think it's a lack of awareness because you've never had to be aware.
Right.
And we are types of people where if we're in certain spaces, I have to think about how I'm acting in a space
Mhm.
to continue to be in that space, advance in it, have agency in it. I have to be very careful about my words and my body language and what I do and what I say. So all those things mixed in together, and then you have to do it so many different times. So you have to do it in your household, you have to do it at ballet, you have to do it at physics, you have to do it at school, and then also culturally outside of in a Mormon world, it's like you're spending all day formulating yourself in so many different ways, whether you code
Yeah.
switch or not. You're
Right.
existing in so many different versions of yourself. And what is so liberating about a place like New York is that they go, that doesn't matter anymore. Who do you want to be? And how can you really just like let it go and just be more and more yourself? Because you're an accumulation of all those identities. It's like Schrodinger's cat. You're all the cats. You're a bag full of cats. Let the cat out of the bag.
Right.
New York really allowed me to be like whatever I wanted to say, whoever I wanted to be, it's like, let's find that person
Hmm.
and have the liberty to walk down the street and never think about how you're doing it. I think a lot of people who are these kind of, whether you're a misfit toy or a toy that never had toys that look like the same type of toy. Whatever your toy story is, you can really come to New York and, for lack of a better word, be invisible or just exist and it never need to be questioned or called out.
Yeah.
Someone like me who's constantly called out for how she looks or her color or her height or this or that, to go to New York and nobody give an F. I
Hmm.
love it. I love
Yeah.
walking down the street and no one cares. It's
Yeah.
it's very therapeutic.
Yeah. There are tons of tall, beautiful women in New York. So you're
Right. Yeah. It's like, great, great. Hey, ladies, what's up? Okay. And now they call us stallions. Woohoo! No, it's a good year. It's a good year for us tall women. I saw Angela Reese. I was like, yes, and oh no, I think it's Angel.
Angel Reese, but
I'll be
yeah.
calling her Angela, girl.
I've been calling her Gabrielle Reese because I'm the age of Gabrielle Reese being the athlete or tall woman named
Oh,
Reese.
is there a Gabrielle?
She
I
was
I
Gabby
just
Reese the volleyball player who went into modeling, or was she just a model?
right.
It was the 90s.
I'm over here and I'm like, okay, tall ladies. I was like, I have not watched one game, but I'm cheering you from beyond. Like no,
Yeah.
I love it. I love New York, and
Yeah.
all women are so fabulous, and it makes me want to be fabulous. It makes me want to step into my own. Even my roommate, this just beautiful, lovely human being, and she's so fabulous, and she knows it. And she's like, Sydney, I can't. She's like from Peru, and she's taking in American culture for the first time, and she was like, Sydney, you're too beautiful to be doing comedy. I mean, I know you love the wigs, but you're just too beautiful. And I was just like, oh, you're so nice. As I'm like putting on the wig and like, I know, like character at 4 a.m. in the morning. No. She's so nice. She's just like, oh, I want you to dress better.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
How did comedy come into it? Because you've been through all of the theaters here in New York. You're at
Yes.
Magnet, you're at Pitt, you're at UCB. You've done Maud and Betty house teams, which Betty is the character. It's like the
Yes.
new branding for the character
Oh,
wing
yes. It's called
at
Betty.
UCB. Yeah, they're called the Betty. So
Yeah.
but the character teams done a ton of things there, and you teach at the Pit. Did you do a show or did you do some classes, teach some classes at BCC?
Oh, yeah, I've just been doing some shows. I have a monthly show there with an improv group
Yeah.
but yeah, you are correct. I have been at every theater in town.
Yeah.
And what's so great is that I have such a beautiful network of people that I've met along the way, and I love doing shows. And being in the first couple of years of being in comedy, I'm the type of person where I'm like, the dancer, the workhorse, ballet dancer is still inside of me. And it's like practice makes not perfect, but better.
Yeah.
So I always love to say yes to shows, and I don't care if it's in a basement somewhere or in a back of a bar. Like, I don't care. It's more so it's like, how can I get those hours in? Because the ballet
Mhm.
dance for me is like, well, I want to get better at characters, and that requires practice. So I'm like, okay, yeah, let me go take classes. Let me go hear what people have to say. It's that same mentality, but now
Mhm.
it's just on comedy. It's like dancers, even after they're done professionally, they go take class. So
Oh.
that was my mindset, was like, okay, well, what are they doing over here at UCB? Okay, what are they doing at Second City? What are they doing here? It's like, because also I wanted to find who are my favorite people to watch and learn from, who are my favorite way, like pedagogy wise, to learn. And also I just wanted to get better. I saw this skill set of improv, and I just love improv so much. But where I got started was right before everything shut down.
Mhm.
2020, I took my first improv class, and I absolutely loved it. And then I just started taking all the classes at UCB. And then 2 days before my like graduate show, everything shut down.
Ooh.
And I was like, wait, I just found this love. Like, I literally had just started doing improv, and I was so excited, and I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. And I felt once again that ability to be invisible. I could just go
Hmm.
into a scene and be somebody else or be myself, but be in this very welcoming space. Improv was therapy for me, for especially the first couple of years. It was like I can just exist in a scene. I don't
Mhm.
have to be perfect. I don't have to have a bun in. I don't have to be a certain weight or look a certain way or think so hard about how my body is moving throughout the space. I could just be myself. And I loved it. I loved improv. I was definitely the person that had to be told, like, okay, you can't be in every scene. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. It wasn't even like I wanted to be the star in the scene. I was just having so much fun that I didn't want to miss out on playing with anyone. I was just like, it's so much fun. I can do anything. I can be a turtle. I can come out and be a turtle. Are you kidding? That's so dumb.
That's how it reads as someone who's performed with you. It reads as someone who's excited, not someone who you're not a steamroller. You're someone who is just
I'm like a golden
having so much fun. Yes, a golden retriever. Yeah.
Play. Where's the ball? It's like
Absolutely.
out. Yeah.
There's a level of excitement that's just bursting in your eyes whenever I see you perform. I think the first time we did a scene together,
yeah.
I was like, oh wow, she's got a lot. Like you were so excited. And it was like so like your eyes just came alive. And then I was like, oh wow, all right.
Yeah. And I think because for so many years I really dimmed all of that excitement. It was just like, how do I exceed expectations? How to be the most perfect version of myself I can be. And improv just really let my inner child go, hey, you can come play now. I never let you for, 20 plus years play.
Yeah.
So she's someone really heal their inner child. Like she's a little too happy, but I'm like, hey, the reins are off. Like
it's not a problem. It's not a problem. And I think, for one, all those years of having been on the stage, there's a hump that a lot of people starting in comedy who've never been on stage that's not there for you in the same way. Not that it's not some kind of stuff, but like, it's you're used to going on stage and turning something on, but now it's just in this different way. But I want to go back to something. Oh yeah. I want to go back to something you were mentioning about when you were shifting from the ballet mindset of like, gotta like keep practicing and going and learning, taking class. I want to know how that helped you develop when you started taking classes. Like, how did you show up for comedy classes that helped you sort of hone in and focus in?
Ooh, what a good question.
Thanks.
I love that too, because after ballet, it was hard. It was hard. I never wanted to go back on stage ever again, to be honest. I really just wanted to feel good. I just wanted to feel good. There was so much mentally and physically happening. It's like a little mini death when you step away from something with that much sacrifice and devotion. This 25-year marriage, this relationship, there's heartbreak there. So in improv, the mindset that I did in the beginning of taking classes was, how do I just have fun? I never had that be the forefront of my mindset. It was always, how do I achieve? How do I do this for this person and be able to continue to be in the space? It's like with ballet, it's like you need to make the choreographer happy. You need to make the director happy. There are things that you need to do when you step into the space. And with improv, it's like, oh, there is no, ceiling. It's imagination station. So I really just was at the beginning just trying to have fun. And then, I started making TikToks during the pandemic, and some of those were starting to go viral. And then I was like, oh, why are people liking this? I was like, I didn't like being in front of the camera. I didn't want to ever be on stage again, but I was so bored during the pandemic, and I wanted to practice improv, and I took some writing classes, and I was like, let me just keep developing this on TikTok. And at the end of 2021, when I was asked to do this big showcase, no one knew that it was like my first time that I'd ever done comedy on stage. And then after that, at the end of 2021, I was like, oh, I think I need to take this seriously. And then in 2022, I was like, okay, ballet mindset. How do I almost wanted to be able to be given that audition and that showcase and that opportunity again. So how do I once again kind of lock into how can I be the best performer I can be? And the only way I know how to do that is by practice. So at the beginning of 2022, I was like, okay, every day I'm gonna, just like I would with ballet class, just as I would do as a ballet dancer, go take class every day. So I was like, go find a class, go find a jam, go find a show. And how do I just learn how to be on stage again? And then also talking on stage is really hard. So in 2020,
I guess that was one of the things you didn't have as much experience.
yeah. I used to shake on stage. I had so much anxiety, but I knew that I had to get the anxiety out. You have to practice your nervous system feeling regulated in a space for the shakes to stop, or for me at least. And so just such major anxiety, and even the hangs after would be like very anxious as well. Not the most social, like, especially in the beginning of improv, I was like, what? Imposter syndrome would just like make me go crazy. But yeah, so 2022, I just hit the ground running and I was like, how can I do everything I can? I wanted to take every class I could. I wanted to get as good as I possibly could. I felt like I was playing catch up. I knew I had, very important characters and impressions that I could do that others couldn't. And I put this impossible standard on myself, to be honest. Now, in retrospect, looking back, I thought, I was like, I will catch up with everybody who's been doing comedy for 10, 15 years in a year. And of course, yes, I got so much better. And I joined my first main stage and I was learning and growing, but it takes time. Takes time. So now I'm like, all right, Sid, all you know is how to be a workhorse. How do you get off the horse and learn how to work in a different way, a more efficient way, a way that I truly, to be honest with you, don't know how yet. But I'm excited for the work of figuring out a different pattern of how do I work hard and have this longevity? How do I not sprint? It's now a marathon. The
Yeah.
career started, the opportunities have come and gone. What do I do in the meantime to not only take care of myself, but continue to step on stage and be excited about it? Can continue to afford to do improv, sketch, and character? My God. When someone figures that out, let me know. But yeah, I love what I do now, and I'm no longer interested in being the workhorse. I'm more excited in being an employed, efficient horse that gets to run in the pasture. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I've been doing for the past 3 years is just continuing to work hard and learn, and that mobility and that flexibility has allowed me, yeah, to go from Asylum to UCB to Second City. I've done 3 different styles of main stages, and it's like different choreographers, different
Yeah.
are going to be asking for you to move and perform in a different way. And I really think my ballet training and my ability to be a chameleon in different spaces as a Black woman
Yeah.
UI to be amenable in these spaces and figure out how can I find joy in each position that I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've done a ton with it. One thing, you did receive the SNL Scholarship Award.
Yes, yeah, from the pit, yeah.
Yeah. So what is that?
That is a great question. Truly, I think after the pandemic, there was this push for how can we uplift people from certain communities, definitely people of color included, and how do we give them free classes? So I really just think it's NBC allocating money to the theaters. So Second City gets one, Growlings, the Pit at the time, I think they still get it, and now UCB once they got open. And I think the theaters can just decide how they spend that money. But I think it's just
Hmm.
an initiative behind like, hey, like we know that there are people that at these theaters that don't get a lot of opportunities. I mean, classes are like $500. So I really commend them for setting aside that money for people like me and other people that can't afford classes to go and take them. But that's what the scholarship is. It's you're able to take classes at the theater, and then the theater allocates each one is different, but the funds and how they use it or
Got it.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Well, Magnet has that through the Diversity
Oh,
Scholarship
yes.
Program, which I'm the coordinator of. Yeah. Uh,
Coordinated diversity.
yeah. So another thing you got to do at one point, I'm not sure when it happened, you were in a Solange music
Oh,
video,
wow.
which
Yes.
was,
Yeah.
and did you,
Very
because you
deep dive.
played Solange in the scene we were in the show that we did a
Oh,
couple
that's so
months
funny.
ago. Yeah,
Yes, I
you were,
did.
yeah, did
Yes, I
you,
walked out and I just was gonna be like a bougie woman, and then someone was like, "It's Solange," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
did you harken back to that music video
Oh,
experience to play
no.
that character?
Okay, so the music video is When I Get Home. It's
Yeah.
her ode to Texas. So she went from Dallas, Houston, and then way out west in like a rodeo. I don't know I forget the name of the city, but West Texas, where she could like be at a ranch. It was a very long day. It was very cold. Everybody was obsessed with like the bandeau, Yeezy looking like undergarments as an outfit. So it was like a
Hmm.
bandeau and then like briefs that went up to my like above my belly button. So I was in these
Hmm.
long underwear briefs and a bandeau and a blonde wig. And we stood there. It was so cold and it was raining. And she had us all in a fountain. There's a
Uh-huh.
fountain in the music video, and there's pouring water in there. And then we're all standing there, and then they're doing multiple takes of it. And then we got to like sit in the bus and we are like shivering. And it was raining. and then we went to the Kimball Art Museum in Fort Worth,
Uh-huh.
Texas, and we stood there like art sculptures. And she would, walk around and do things and dance in front of us. And that bit was cut, which was really cool because also, like, okay, I want to manifest this, but when I meet her, not if, I'm kidding, but, it'd be really cool. She took a photo of us and she never posted it. And I always wondered, I was like, I would love to see that photo because we were all standing there in the Kimball Art Museum after hours. Like, she had shut the whole museum down and it was so cool. And we're all standing there in the blonde wigs and dancing. And she took a photo of us. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to go eat a quesadilla now. And she ate a little quesadilla. And it was so lovely. There were a lot of dancers, a lot of models and dancers there. And she introduced herself to every single one of us.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, I have no qualms with my doppelganger.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So let's fast forward a little bit. You are now currently on Wild 'N Out.
Yes, yeah.
How
Well,
did that come
years ago.
about?
Yeah. Okay, so I believe you're probably in the Black improv group chat.
Yeah.
Okay, fun. A great group chat. Good folks, good folks.
Yeah.
Well, for the listeners, there's not a lot of us, so we can all fit in a group chat, and it doesn't feel a lot. You know what I mean? So Dejan or somebody else, but maybe multiple people had put the open call in for Wild 'N Out.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have a manager at that point, and I clicked the open call and just submitted. And they were like, "Oh, just like do a video of impressions, or if there's any games you can do if you're a battle rapper." Like, there's a wide range of talents that are on that show, and it was more about like, what can you bring to the show?
Mhm.
So I did a rhyme because I do hip hop improv. So I did like a cute little. I was like, I've got to find that video. I look back at it and I cringe. Oh, y'all. Okay, I'll tell y'all the story. Okay, so basically it's a video, and
Mhm.
I rapped, I did impressions and did a couple of their games and sent the tape in. And I was like, it's Wild 'N Out. There's no way I could possibly like get this job. So I was having fun with the video. And I think that's the magic, y'all. Like, keep having fun. My God.
Mhm.
Like, oh, can she come out to the audition? And I was like, oh crap. Like, crap. Like, I don't want to come. It's like, oh F, like now I gotta do this audition for real, for real.
Uh-huh.
This was 2023, and I went out. They said you can either do it on Zoom or in person, but it was the first audition I'd ever been asked to do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna fly out. So I got
Wow.
at my restaurant job. I flew out red eye to LA. My uncle picked me up in the car, and he's like, "Okay, girl, what are you doing here in LA?" And I'm like, "I'm auditioning. I'm auditioning for Wild 'N Out." He's like, "No, you're not." Like, no one believed me. But he dropped me off, and I sat in the lobby in my Kamala wig because you only had 3 minutes for your audition. So I was like, I don't have time to put the wig and stuff on in there.
Smart move.
I'm in there. So I came in there rapping as Kamala, and I was like battle rapping, but I was as Kamala. And then I did a freestyle rap. They're like, "Can you rap just as yourself, freestyle?" And I was like, okay, yeah. It's corny, but I got you. And then did some impressions. And then I had a bag full of characters, and I did characters for them. And it was so much fun to watch them go from like, I don't know about her, to like, huh. They're like, "You brought a whole bag full of wigs?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a bag full of them. I have even more if you want." They're like, "Okay, keep going." And I was like, "Okay." And an executive producer, a shout out to Davi. I absolutely adore him. I love all the producers there. But he told me, he was like, "We don't know exactly, like, from your audition what to do with you, but you came so prepared. You were the most
Mm.
prepared person we had seen." So these internet guys that have like millions and millions of followers, they apparently walked in. I'm not sure. I don't know their auditions. I don't want to crap on their auditions. They're all so funny. My God.
Mhm.
It's a skill set. I mean, you don't have, millions of followers on Instagram for nothing. They have great ideas.
Mhm.
But they came in and they're like, "So what do you want me to do?" Kind of like, "Well, what do I do now?" And they're like, "Wait,
Ah,
you should come to the audition prepared to."
present what you can
Right.
do
Like, so
as
nobody read
opposed
the email?
to yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
and that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize with these shows, like someone who doesn't get on SNL. There are a lot of great people who could get cast on that show, and it just didn't work out that season for various
Oh, so
reasons.
many reasons. Yeah.
But sometimes it is sort of like, we don't know what kind of personality this person, like, I heard a story of, like, I believe, oh, I won't put the name out there because I'm not 100% positive it's this one guy, but it is a guy who is actually problematic who auditioned. And there are a couple of sides of the story that apparently just backstage, he had like a bunch of beer in his book bag, and the book bag fell over and the beer rolled out, and all the other like, people were just looking at him like, why are you gonna bring beer to an audition for SNL?
Oh, maybe
And
he's
then that
nervous
this
or something?
person did not get cast. It's just a wild person.
Oh.
He's just a not together person. And
Hmm.
so like people, if you just hear like, oh, this person auditioned and didn't get on, people, the immediate thing is like, well, they're stupid and don't know. But it's like, yeah, they got to think about a lot of things other than are they funny?
And like, it's not just preparedness. It's like, can you, and I've learned this the hard way, I've been there where you're at an audition and you're just doing the best you can.
Yeah,
And these auditions, I mean, there's so many acting casting calls. It's not just
yeah,
BC or Wild and Out or any other three-letter initials. It's more of like sometimes you just don't know what they're looking for, and it's just a misalignment. That's
yeah.
it's really you could be the most prepared person. You could have everything you need,
Yeah, so
and
talented, as talented as people who have been on the show before, but if they just don't know where to put you,
yeah, it's such a hard pill to swallow
it
too.
is, yeah.
Someone who's like had to grieve that whole situation.
Yeah.
It's more so like just keep doing the best that you can and keep moving.
Keep on keeping on. Yeah, there'll be something
Alignment,
else.
it's kind of like I think of it like, with dating, it's like it's just a misalignment,
Yeah, I was just about to make the same connection. Sometimes
Little
it's just timing.
timing. There's so many different factors in the universe you just can't control.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't make it not heartbreaking.
Right.
Like people can be heartbroken. I'm not
Oh my
saying
God, yes, yeah.
saying that, but yeah, it
I
is.
became I was already a wild woman. I didn't have beer in my bag. It makes me too bloated. But like, I became a wild woman in the pursuit that like let me prove myself to, be able to audition again. And people were like, oh, Sid, rest, take it easy. I was like, I can't take it easy. We're in the middle of the election season, and I have an impression that could
Mhm.
offer me health insurance.
Yeah,
It was very serious for me. It's like I wasn't working this hard the past couple of years out of vain. Like I
right.
really was, yes, I was working too hard, but it was because I saw, this job market open up, and I was hoping that all of these things that I was adding to my resume and putting out this good energy and making connections and doing I did everything I could in my power. But I think now I look back and I go, well, Sid, you did everything in your power. And yes, you
Right.
could have done this better, you could have done that better. But like if someone doesn't want to work with you or be with you or whatever it is, how do we start that process of letting it go and continuing to put that energy somewhere else? Because what's so beautiful is that all that preparation led me to my Wild 'N Out audition, and then I was prepared for that one. So my preparation and the rejection from, the previous year's auditions for NBC led me to be ready for Wild 'N Out. And so yes, Davi was saying like you were prepared and blah blah blah, but we still don't know. So they bring you in and then you do the workshops and all that. And I just every day I was like, "Come on, Sid, like you've got this, girl, like all of this practice and all that." Even though like this is 2023. If you've been listening the whole time, that's only like 2.5 years of starting for my
Yeah.
live shows. Like 2 years in, I'm like on stage in Atlanta, like what have I gotten into? And I just was like, no, you've been dancing your whole life, you've been on stage, and how do you bring everything that you are and to the stage? And oh yeah, sorry, I meant to tell y'all what I put in the freaking video. So, very corny rapper. I am a very corny rapper. I understand that. Lots of my battle raps were cut because it's just like, girl, even DJ D-Rec would be like, girl, what'd you just say? What? Did you just rhyme spoon with moon? Girl, shut up. Like, I was like, I learned my lesson very quickly. What works and what doesn't on the show. You had to figure that out in real time on stage in front of people. You had to figure it out. But the rap was, I was like, oh, my name is Sydney Duncan. I'm no Cinderella. Don't go pick me up in no pumpkin. I was trying to rhyme my name. I was like, hey, I'm your girl, Sydney Duncan. Like, and this is in the audition tape. I was like, oh, I've been watching Wild Now since I was a little girl. And then like, after Pumpkin, I go, I've been watching this show since I was a wee munchkin. And then in frame, like if this was the audition, right, I brought a little black doll out since I was a wee munchkin. I literally brought a doll into frame, and I was like, a munchkin. Uh, so let me audition so I can bring my corniness to your function. And I just remember that's how I started the tape. And I'm surprised they were like, yeah, let's do that. They were like,
Like,
what?
I'm
Did she
watching.
bring a doll up? Should have started with Kamala, but I forgot about that. I need to go back and watch and laugh at. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, I've heard so many musicians talk about their early work and how they cringe when they listen to it. And that
Oh,
stuff's
yeah.
out
The
there for the
growth.
masses. Yeah.
The growth.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, the growth. It's wild.
Hmm.
Because I have been next to people who, from when they started out to when they got very successful.
Hmm.
And because we went to college together and they had a band, and I was in college listening to them like, this is so great. And then once they got better, like had a real producer and bona fide studio space, I was like listening back after years of them having like a big production setup, was listening back to the college stuff, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
there's a difference.
There's a
Um,
difference.
there's
And,
something
I love
here, but
that you got to be Delulu. You got to start somewhere.
you gotta
And
be audacious.
everyone's gonna be in the cringe of it too, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so cringe, it's not fully prepared. Ain't nothing fully baked. I hate to break it to you,
Yeah.
like I'm not afraid of the cringe because that's the other thing that like my ego death was with ballet.
Yeah.
Not that I had much of an ego even there. I was very much so riddled in imposter syndrome and trying to learn how to love yourself as a tall black woman in a space that could care less about me.
Mhm.
But with comedy, I think what's really helped me is not looking at like, oh, I'm here to be the funniest person or oh, I'm here to achieve. I was really here to truly bring joy into my life. And I don't care how I look on stage. I don't care if it's cringe, whatever, because I know it's like, well, it took me 20 years with ballet to become this professional ballet dancer. So it's like, girl, you're 2, 3 years in, like it's gonna be cringe as hell.
Yeah.
So I got over that very quickly and just really was like, okay, I'm gonna make big mistakes. I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm not gonna get the job. I'm not gonna do this and that, but I gotta figure it out. It was
Yeah.
almost like I have to go be bad so that I can figure out how to do this well.
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
do shows all the time. It was like I had to figure out the mechanism of comedy.
That's the distinction. Because I heard someone recently, some famous person, I can't remember if they're a comedian or a musician, but it was one or the other. And they were talking about how, so they're making that same point. Things have to be cringe. Like, that's just going to happen. If you're trying and you're putting yourself out there when you're starting out, you're not going to be great. So it is going to be cringe.
And
Though
what's
I do
about
think,
that?
right. Though
What?
I do think a lot of when people are talking about something being cringy, well, I guess some people are overusing it, but it's sort of the like coworker music where the person is completely unaware that they are not strong at it. Like they
Oh, yeah.
don't see a difference between them.
Hey, I've
Like,
seen some really Delulu people turn that into some money. So hey,
hey, yeah,
hey,
I don't know, more power to you in this
more power.
economy.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, oh, what? This person doesn't know that they're not good, and they are
Like
not
when
going to
I
try to
look,
get better.
yeah, when I look at that, when I see that, you see it a lot in comedy where it's like, oh, are they aware of what they're doing or are they not? Or like maybe you're speculating exactly what you're saying. But when I look at that, I go, wow,
Yeah,
I wish I
exactly.
had
Same.
that same courage for my own work.
Yeah,
Uh, I always look at it like that. I don't know if that's like too mama bear therapy, but it's more of like when I see it, I'm like, why am I not walking around like I'm also Megan the Stallion? I did this character. Megan the Stallion had this music video last year, and I was like, wow, she's so confident. Like she's so confident, and I wish like I grew up it's like to watch someone have a similar body type as you be praised. At first was just like, what was wrong with me? Why did I get bullied my entire
Mm.
life? And I'm walking and I'm seeing this new generation of women. I already sound like a battered boomer black woman. Well, when back in my day, you couldn't do something. But at first I was just like, it's not that I was ever like jealous or hating on Megan Thee Stallion. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. I was like, why
Yeah.
can't I also feel that way about my body and my beauty and my blackness?
Mhm.
And I put it all into a character. I put it into a character called Chelsea the Pony, who's riddled with anxiety and trying to find her confidence. So now when I look at it, when I see something, whether it's cringe or I admire or whatever, or even if jealousy pops its green head out, it's hard for me to get jealous just because it's like, they ain't all about black people. I'm rooting for everybody black. It's really
Yeah.
hard for me. Like, jealousy is just not a word I use. It's
Yeah.
more, oh, there's something that you do that I wish I could also emulate. So what can I do to be the most Megan Thee Stallion version of myself I can be? How can I be more confident? So even if I see someone who's not self-aware, sometimes I'm like, wow, but they fucking love themselves.
Yeah.
God, I just want an inch of it. Not a lot, I don't want
Yeah.
to go crazy, but I would love it a little sprinkle. Sprinkle.
Right. I want that level of, I want to be audacious enough to
Audacious. I want the
just
audacity.
fully show what I want to show of
Yeah.
myself, to fully reveal myself and open up to perform
Yeah.
on a level I want to perform at and be vulnerable. And I feel like we have so many examples nowadays of people who are arrogant and oblivious and, rude and mean, even though they're
Yeah.
just mid or something like that. And it's like, it's like, I want to see more examples of just the confident, nice person who is just working hard and being kind. Like I want to see more of those examples.
I would love a job. I would love health insurance. Yeah. If the industry's ready for a confident, nice person to work with that can write and perform improv sketch character, hey. But I'm realizing, yeah, you're so right. And I'm like, if they can do it, then I need to figure out a way on how I can. Because you do see a lot of opportunity go to people where you're like, huh. But also I was in this position where I was auditioning for, NBC and all these people. Like, it was my first day of comedy and I'm out there auditioning. And I bet they could be like, oh, she's not prepared, or oh, she's not this, oh, she's not that. So I give a lot of people grace. And also comedy, when you're watching it, and especially now that I'm teaching it, you see so many battles people are either aware of or not. Even in my own work, someone pulled me aside, very, very dear friend, was like, I can tell that you lost a little joy in you this past year. And I was like, whoa, she read my tea. She was like, I think you've lost a lot of your confidence. You don't walk out on stage like you used to. And I don't feel that, like, you're spreading yourself so thin that we don't like see the joy that you used to have. Ooh, having someone say you've lost the light in your eyes, like, I was like, oh no. Because I was like, I can't go back to ballet where that was the situation, where it's like I sacrificed so much of my energy to be this perfect version that I knew I needed to be to continue doing ballet. You sacrifice so much of yourself and you disassociate and you kind of lose your sense of self. And that can happen in comedy as well. So yeah, especially teaching improv now, I'm like, wow, I see battles that I don't know if they know about, or maybe they do. I don't know. But teaching improv will teach you some stuff about yourself. My God.
Yeah,
Sometimes you'll
absolutely.
say a line to people and you're like, oh, I need to write that down. I'll even call myself out when I say, I was like, ooh, I need to do that too. My bad.
For
Like,
real.
just laugh. I'm like, wow.
Especially when you do a show that your students come to, it's like, oh, I better be on top of it. I better do all the things I tell them they should do.
Yeah. There was a really weird show I did. And usually the show is absolutely lovely. And every other month it's like roaring applause and all that. But it was just a weird show. It's improv. There's a whole bunch of people on stage. It's gonna happen. And he came to my improv class the next morning. And he was like, yeah, I came to the show. Weird. Like, he looked at me like, you didn't do anything you know me on. And I'm like, you're right. Sorry.
Oh gosh. That's
Yeah.
wild that they had the audacity to say it to you.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. No.
Well, we've reached the end of the episode. It's time to create something together, and let's make it an advice one.
Yeah.
As someone who put your head down and grinded in the comedy theaters and classes, I'm wondering what advice you would give someone who also wants to take that approach. One thing that you wish you had done when you were going through that process, and one thing that you wish you didn't do.
Ooh.
Like the thing that maybe I wish someone had told me to do this, and then the thing that was like, I wish someone told me not to bother doing this part.
Oh, and actually I'm doing like somatics therapy, and they ask these questions a lot. Like, in these situations where X, Y, and Z happen, what would you have done? How would you have talked to younger Sydney or Sydney in that moment? And like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, but like also letting go that it did or didn't happen. So, okay, the thing that I didn't do that I wish I did was ask for help. I had so much imposter syndrome and I didn't feel that I was worthy enough to ask for help. Yes, I had these opportunities where I could have really gotten a job that could have changed my life, but I was too nervous and embarrassed and did not feel worthy to ask for help. So if you're young, well, young adult, whatever, whether you're new to comedy or not, is what I mean. Ask for help. What do you need? How can you reach out to someone via an email? The worst thing that happens is that they can't help you or they don't reply to your email. Okay, great. People are going to people. So I would have changed that. I would have asked for help. I would have asked for more feedback. I was always afraid to ask for feedback because I hated being perceived by people. I hated actually knowing what you thought of me because with ballet, there's so much trauma and like what you're going to say to me is going to traumatize me for the rest of my life. Most of my notes weren't notes, they were racist things said to me. So I would kind of like brace for impact when anyone like has feedback for me because I'm like, oh, here comes another sentence that I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life. But now I'm like, no, Sid, you have to allow the perception in. You have to allow people to, how am I being perceived on stage? And is it aligning with what I want to communicate to the audience? Because the better that you are at that reciprocity, the better that what you're trying to do can be communicated to your audience. So ask for feedback in a way that like am what I want to go about, is it being taken in the way that I thought so? And if it's not, oh, I didn't even know that comedic element. Like for instance, this Billy Bear character, I like hold the bear in a way that like with the stuffer, I didn't even know that that is a comedic thing as well. And I so get your feedback, ask for help, and whatever they say, it's information, valuable information. And yes, there's going to be some times where people don't know how to give good notes and might say things that will rub you the wrong way. But how can you rinse all of that off? Woo! As people of color, we have to do that a lot. We have to rinse off the microaggression to actually get the note they mean
Mhm.
so that it can help you and you will grow so much faster than you just like pumping out every show and running around town. Okay, so that's what I didn't do that I wish I did. And then there was a second part. Or did I do the second part first and now the first part? Huh?
It was, what did you not do that you wish you did do? And then what was something you did do that you wish you did not do?
Oh, so I have to add
Essentially.
that part now. So what I did do that I wish I didn't do was, oh, and I'm still unraveling this because I'm still kind of doing it,
Yeah.
where I give my entire schedule to this art form to the point to where you don't feel like a human.
Mhm.
With ballet, that's what you have to do. With ballet, it's like it's a 24/7 job. And that's all I know. And all I know is how to be sacrificial with my art forms.
Mm.
And then you're not living a life. And the more and more that you live in this turtle shell of like, I will just devote every day to my art form because this is my world, this is my life, then it becomes your entire identity. And it comes really hard to be malleable and flexible with feedback, changing, or like you have to let go of control, relinquish it, just let it go because it's like the more that you don't live life simultaneously at becoming a better comedian, the more that like every rejection and downfall will be detrimental because it feels like an attack on your identity.
Mm.
So what I
Yeah.
would do instead of what I didn't is continue to find joy outside of comedy. You'll be a better comedian for it. Go see your friends. Go have a community outside of comedy, but also engross yourself in comedy. Find the people within the comedy community that bring you joy. Don't take joy out of the equation in your pursuit of a career in comedy. That's what I wish I didn't do. Whatever didn't. I wish I didn't take the joy out because after I lost the joy, it's taking me a really long time to find it again.
Mm.
So I think that's why you saw me like excited just to like, what? I get to do an improv show. I'm not in rehearsal. I'm not, there's a lot of things now that I need to do and not as much time as I used to do and what I want to do. My schedule is not my own anymore. So I have, responsibilities and beautiful projects that I'm in and rehearsals that I can't wait to get to, but I don't get to do shows just for joy. So I want to make sure that is in there because that's important to me. now that I know that.
Well, there it is. Sydney, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, I love when people are like, hey, you ramble a lot. Do you want to come ramble?
Sydney is the best. I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget about her show at BK Art House, WOC Wigs of Color on November 13th. We have a link to tickets in the description. Follow at Sydney Duncan on them on TikTok and Instagram. Also, check out her website, sydneyduncan.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at There It Is Pod, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at There It Is. And follow me on Instagram and Threads at Jason Farr Pics and on TikTok at Jason Farr Talks. Also, subscribe to our comedy lifestyle newsletter and support us if you can. We have a Patreon and a PayPal. Go to thereitispod.com for newsletter and support info, links in bio. We have another great episode for you next week, so be sure to check that out. Until next time, be good to each other and go vote. It's a moral imperative.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.